welcome everybody to Christian Anarchy today. I'm Ethan Foster here with these two imbeciles. Today we are
I pick on you, and you wonder why.
He's not wrong about it. It's fine.
We are talking about the creation story today. Once again, we've covered it sort of in the past, but today we're going more in depth. So, you guys, thoughts on the creation story?
Yes.
I'd say yes as well, but however, I think a better question is it literal? That's probably more important.
Thank you for bringing more depth and dimension to the topic.
Anytime.
Is it literal?
Aspects of it, sure, probably. But in terms of like the days, I don't think are literal.
So the time allotted, not literal, but the fact that there was an animal and a woman and a snake and a tree and all that literal.
Yeah.
You say?
I'm of the opinion that it's talking about, for example, certain people could be people groups. I don't think it's literal at all.
So Adam and Eve are people
Maybe not
groups?
at all. Maybe at a certain point it could be. Could be. I'm open to that possibility. I don't know if it's.
So what people?
It
what
could.
are you
Well, it
talking
could
about?
be.
What does that mean?
So, for example, like, I'm just thinking about evolutionarily, because we did cover this a little bit when we were talking about evolution, and I think you guys were thinking a possibility is that the evolution happened and then it was Adam and Eve in a specific Garden of Eden in a different place apart from all the other stuff.
Okay.
So, and that could very well be. I tend to think of it more as if we take the evolution story, Adam and Eve could be a people group, or somehow that evolution working out to become humans, I guess, sort of. So I take it pretty non-literally, and I think that's how my brain makes sense of it all.
My only problem with that, and I considered the view. My only problem with it is that when we call Christ the second Adam, and in that context, well, Christ isn't like a people group, you know.
Yeah,
so
well,
I just feel like in terms of like the story of the Bible, it's hard.
But when they call him a second Adam,
accept.
they're referring to the story of the Bible. But even if they are people groups, in the words in the text, it's one person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it still works out just fine.
Sure.
But I think I think it could work just fine being people groups. I think it would make a little more sense when we start going through Genesis and are talking about ages of people and things like that, and then the genealogy, how it works out. Because if you take it literally, then people say that's where young Earth comes in.
Yeah.
And I think it could work. It's just a possibility. I mean, I'm sure I can be proven wrong on this, but just how I generally have thought about it is that it could be people groups, and that would sort of help cushion the literal aspects of it a little bit.
So let me go through and ask some questions, and I'm just going to look back and forth, and you guys say yes or no.
Okay.
So in the beginning, God.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That he said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are actual literal things, you think?
Yes, but it's not. I mean, how it actually worked out in the physical world is debatable.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it's just like you just say, "Let there be light," and then just
Then like a giant flashlight.
just like a flashlight. You know, it's not like that.
Right.
So I think if we're
So
taking
the light could have traveled from 1 billion miles away and taken 7,000 years and everything else. But
sure, it could have been the Big Bang or
that's what I interpret it as. But
everything
it's
exploding out.
Okay.
So yeah.
And how about the 7 days? 6 days creation. On the 6th day, creates men and women and all that.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
not literal.
Yeah, not literal. But what the difference between what you and I are thinking here in terms of the aspect of the question is that those days don't represent literal days in terms of how we view
24-hour periods.
Yeah. No. It's no on 24-hour periods.
Okay. No, and obviously no with you. Okay. Yeah. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just really. 1 day could have been 10 billion years and whatever. I don't know.
The reason I think, or I strongly think that it's not literal is because I enjoy physics and science and space and all that type of stuff. So anytime I learn about, or see scientists talking about what they've discovered today, what they know, how these things happen, the deeper you go, the more interesting it becomes when you think, okay, think of the creation story or how God could have made it happen. And I think learning about that stuff sort of makes it more enjoyable because you can appreciate what he did, you know? And then when it comes to the literal story, I just I don't think it has to be literal, like some people say it does. And that's when you get into God versus science, and you don't need to.
Yeah.
So neither of you are of the opinion that you need to believe in a literal story and that you can be a good Christian and just totally believe that it is a spiritualized story that needs to be interpreted by every individual according to their own
I think
mind.
so.
Okay,
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think evolution and creation is just totally I wouldn't call it relevant, but non-important topic in terms of salvation. Because what we would preach is like the gospel. We don't preach like, okay, God created the earth in 6 literal days. Like that doesn't matter.
Some people do.
Well, I know they do, and
they
it's wrong because that's not the gospel. It's not the gospel. These are just interesting topics that we talk about in terms of like growing in our knowledge, right? Is like how we talk. I view it the same way as talking about eschatology or anything like that. It's not an essential. It's just an arbitrary topic.
And that's how I tend to think of it, is similar to how I think of eschatology in the last days. And all those things that happened, you know, I don't know if it's as literal in the same way as Genesis is. So I kind of view those with a similar mindset anyways.
So I had a young man who's a little bit older than you guys come to me and tell me, well, I have been studying with Dillahunty and these different atheists. He's a believer, and he says, and I've come to find out that evolution has proven to me that the Garden of Eden story is probably a myth. And if the garden is a myth and the fall is a myth and Jesus is a myth, there's no need for him. What would you say to somebody like that who says, I don't take that Garden of Eden story as a literal, true something that happened, therefore the fall is discounted, therefore what do we need Jesus for?
So I think
and that's why I don't take the literal stance, because I don't think it's sustainable with science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally,
that's what I would say too.
I mean, of course it could be. History is history, and it's sometimes tough to figure out exactly how everything happened. But I think it's a more sustainable position to be okay with the fact that it may be symbolic.
Okay. Is that it for it?
Yeah, I think so.
Since
we covered it easy.
The last topic was, what was it about God?
Does God want you to go to college? Was that the one?
No.
What was that one?
Does God know everything?
Does God know?
No. It was Does God
it?
change? It was Does God change? Right?
No. The one that just aired.
Well,
God
yeah,
change?
but think about when this episode is going to
I know,
release.
it just aired last night.
Does God change?
Does God change? In that topic, you said at 4 minutes we've covered that.
Well, thinking at my past, I was probably right.
Whose turn is it?
I think mine.
Next
Or maybe
topic.
Steve's, but-
It's fine. I'll let
We're
you
just going to go right into it now?
Wait. We should probably do out, and then they can cut the out
Okay,
out.
let's see. What
They can cut the out
All
out if
right.
they want to combine it.
Our next topic will be...
Can a Christian be? Oh, can I? Can I be a Christian and a communist?
Ooh!
I'm actually
It's an
gonna have a lot of
interesting
fun
one.
with this
All right.
one.
Next
I like this
week
question.
on...
Cat.
Out.